Okay, so Woman of the Hour, right? That is the new Netflix joint, directed by Anna Kendrick, written by Ian McDonald. The film is produced by Roy Lee, J.D. Lifshitz, Raphael Margalus. Who else do we have? And Mary Yoon. It's executive produced by Luke Taylor, Joe Penner, Miguel Palus, Sean Patrick O'Reilly, Ian McDonald, Matthew Helderman, Zach Garrett, Stuart Ford, Andrew Dean, Stephen Crawford, Paul Barberu, and Anna Kendrick. It is co-produced by Chris Abernathy, L'Oreal Lynch, and Tracy Rosenblum. Dan Roma and Mike Chuquillo took care of the music. Zach Cooperstein was on cinematography. Andy Canny edits the piece. While we have Mary Vanu and Brett Howe taking care of casting. Brent Thomas is production design. Art direction is Christina Bidagor, Shannon Grover, and Fyodor Zaleski. Zoe Jurek and Raquel Tarbert, set decoration. Costume design, we have Brooke Wilcox and Sekiwa Afedisi. Hair, makeup, all of that jazz. We've got Naomi Backstad, Noah Noa Boloki, Stacey Butterworth, Arlene Chavez, Whitney Hudson, Alicia Kabatoff, Elaine Candell, Michelle Penderson, Anna Quinn, Emil Quick, Dana Rutherford, Lessa Simone, Andrea Simpson, and Marianne Yee. Our cast. Well, Cheryl Bradshaw is played by Anna Kendrick, who is wearing several hats here. Rodney Alcala is played by Daniel Zovatto. Ed, right, the host of the dating game, is played by Tony Hale. The other two bachelors, we have Bachelor number 1 played by Matt Visser, Bachelor number 2 played by Jediah Goodacre. There is Terry, Cheryl's neighbor, played by Pete Holmes. We've got Laura, right, played by Nicolette Robinson. We have Sarah, played by Kelly Jackal. Charlie, played by Catherine Gallagher. Amy, played by Autumn Best. Who else is there? We've got the custodian, George Elliott, played by Rob Moulton. There's Mario, played by Dylan Schmid. Gretchen, played by Karen Holness. Marlene, played by Denalda Williams. Lisa, played by Jessie Fraser. The casting directors are played by Matty Finucci and Jeff Gustafson. There's Ken, played by Max Lloyd Jones. Bob, played by Andy Thompson. Diane, played by Nancy Kerr. Joe, played by James Yee. Helen, played by Jessica Chaffin. Right, Mark, played by Matthew Kevin Anderson. Melanie, played by Taylor Hastings. Rodney's boss, played by David Bizzaristo. Marty, played by Darcy Laurel. The bartender, played by Bonnie Hay. Right, the dating game director, played by Matthew Adam Thwaite. The director's first assistant, played by Jacob Wookie. The dating game announcer, played by Jason Simpson. Bachelorette playbook, played by Hannah Henney. Tigil is the bachelor. We got Michael Johnson as the security guard. Right. Laundrette owner, played by Thomas Strumpsky. The detectives, played by John Herkenough and Jeremy Radin. Okay, so the gist of the story is this. It is based on the stranger than fiction true story of Cheryl Bradshaw and Rodney Alcala. Bradshaw was a bachelorette on the hit 70s TV matchmaking show The Dating Game and chose handsome and funny bachelor number 3, Rodney Alcala. But behind Alcala's charming facade was a deadly secret. He was a psychopathic serial killer. So I'd heard about this, but for some reason I thought the serial killer, I thought it was Dahmer, that he had been on the show. But yeah, I mean, crazy. Now I'd heard, now maybe this happened twice, right, with someone else, but I'd heard that the woman got a bad sense of the guy, so called her brother to come pick her up. I think they went out for drinks, but yeah, she called her brother, he came and picked her up, and that's how she got away. That's the story that I had heard. But yeah, I was definitely intrigued to check this out. You know, we've seen Anna Kendrick in tons of things, you know. She's great at acting, but how is she at directing? That's the thing. So the story is kind of split up into different kind of sequences, right? Because we see Rodney, right, do his nastiness, right? That's how it opens up. It's 1977. He's taking pictures of this woman out in the desert and asking her questions, and then he kills her, right? But he strangles her, resuscitates her, and then kills her again, which is just some twisted fucking shit, right? So we open with that, you know? You do kind of be like, oh man, don't go to remote places with people you do not know. That's like craziness, but definitely should not happen. You know what I mean? But yeah, so we open with that, and we see him like trying to hit on women. You know, Sarah, this runaway, Amy even is the runaway. We see him with her in 79. right? There's another woman, Charlie, from 71. So we see, we're jumping between these different timelines. Now, I don't know if a date comes up, a year shows up on screen. As yeah, obviously, they use white text, right? They use white text without a fucking background to it. You know, it's very first. We do get this coda at the end of the film, giving you a bit more history on Rodney and how he went down and all of that kind of jazz. But again, it's white text, right, on light backgrounds. So it's just like a lot of pausing to be like, yo, what the fuck did that say? You know? So I don't know if we get a date when we're seeing these different kind of situations. Tonally, it doesn't, I didn't really notice a difference in lighting or color grading or anything like that. So it doesn't really give you much of an indication that we're hopping time. Now I kind of assume that's what's going on here, because the main story is the show. Because we also at the beginning see Anna Kendrick, Cheryl, on a casting, right? So we're seeing these things. So you're assuming the main story is this show. So all the other things are, flashbacks as they were. Even though what you don't realize that one of them is actually the present kind of thing, right? It's set after the dating show. So that's where it gets a little kind of like, okay. So we have all of these things and, it's all fine, right? But there is a flatness to the film. You know what I mean? It's like there's things where you feel there should be an urgency, right? There should be, like in some of these scenes, there should be this abhorrent dread attached to them. But there isn't really, Like you get a sense that, oh, yeah, it's going to turn now. But that's kind of it. There's no, like bad vibe or anything like that. And we get these there's some scenes like feel a bit weird. Like there's a whole thing with Mario. So Rodney's at work, like bragging about people we know and just stuff, holding court. And then you've got this Mario guy. And you're kind of like, what is happening here? Because it's just like, is this weird sexual tension? Like, what are we meant to be getting from this moment? It was a weirdly shot sequence, which, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've, just looking at it wrongly, but it just didn't feel natural. And a few things like the whole Laura sequence felt weird and out of place. I don't know if they just needed a black actress. You know what I mean? Like, let's add some diversity to the piece. But, yeah, the whole thing just was odd. It was really odd. Even, like, the argument with her boyfriend, it was all odd. Right? You just think certain things probably would, like, you'd articulate them more, So yeah, the main kind of piece, the talk show, that was okay. You know what I mean? Like with the questions and everything, because this is based on a true thing. It would be interesting to know if those were the actual questions that Cheryl asks, right? If that bit did actually go like we're seeing it, you know what I mean? That would have been interesting. I mean, Cheryl is still alive. So, yeah, I guess, did they consult with her? You know what I mean? Or did she just want to be completely out? It's again like with Amy, you know? Is this what actually happened? Like, we don't really know. Because that's the thing with anything that's based on reality, it's never verbatim, right? They will always change something, like the timeline. Things get changed. Even the smallest thing, which after you find out, you're like, yeah, there was no need to change that. You know what I mean? So you don't actually know what's real, what's been embellished, made up, just all of these things. Um, it's interesting, but it's not something that kind of stays with you. You know what I mean? Like it's not a film that I guess I'd be talking about after the fact. Whereas sometimes you watch something and you hit your people, be like, yo, did you see this? Or it's just like, yo, I just watched this crazy ass film, this documentary that talked about this. Like, there's certain things which you have to like just get off your chest, man. Like, relate that info to someone. This isn't really that. Like, a lot of the performances are fine and everything like that. Nothing is horrible, There, as I said, like there's things where you're just like, yeah, I wish we got more from that scene, right? Or if they could have imbued that scene with more of a foreboding or just, a different emotional leverage, right? So there are those things that you think about while watching this, but acting wise, lighting wise, just all of that kind of thing, you're not like, this is dreadful, this is bad, it's just like, yeah, this is fine, this is all right, like the acting is good, but yeah, you just kind of think the writing in places is a bit lifeless, which is interesting because supposedly this was one of those scripts on the blacklist that everyone is trying to get, Yeah, I mean, that does seem to happen a lot, right? Supposedly these scripts that are covered in, you then watch the film and you're like, that was a coveted script? Interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, a lot happens to a script, you know what I mean? When you go into filming, and then you've got the direction, you've got the casting, you've got costumes, the set design. There's so many different elements that can impact how you vibe with it. But yeah, it just kind of feels that there were these just moments that were lacking. But, look, the film is on Netflix. Yes, like things like a promising, was it a promising woman, a promising young woman, right? That film. Gosh, there was something recently that was strange darling, I feel. Yeah, it's kind of on those lives. I think if you enjoyed those two films, then Woman of the Hour, yeah, you might want to check it out, right? But it doesn't quite come up to those films, But I feel that's the best benchmark I can give you people. But yeah, there you go. Woman of the Hour.